Alright, so consecutive integer problems. Classic, classic, classic. Textbooks love these. Um, yeah, I mean, you can decide how useful you think they are, but the reality is you gotta learn how to solve these things, and once you kind of get the hang of how they work, they sort of all work the same way. So let's try them. So, first of all, let's just define some terms. Uh, what's an integer? Um, the integers are the whole numbers, the counting numbers, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, yada yada yada. And then 0, and then the opposites of the counting numbers, like, all the -1, -2, -3. Okay, so those are integers. Consecutive integers are integers that are next to each other. Like 2 and 3 would be consecutive integers. 2, 3, and 4 are consecutive integers. -2, -1 are consecutive integers. -2, -1, 0 are consecutive integers. Right? So just integers, if you can imagine a number line, they would be, and you were just list all the integers. Uh, Consecutive integers would be ones that are next to each other on the number line. Okay, and then if people are talking about consecutive even integers, it'd be, say like you plot just all the even numbers on a number line. 2, 4, 6, 8. So 2 and 4 would be consecutive integers. 2, 4, and 6 would be consecutive integers. Say you had -10 down here. That would not be consecutive with 2. -10 would not be consecutive with 2, but it'd be consecutive with -8, or -12. Okay, so that's what we're talking about. So here's the kind of word problems you'll get. The sum of two consecutive integers is 17. What are the numbers? Okay, so there's two numbers whose value we don't know, right? So let's call them x and y. Here's one number whose value we don't know. Here's another one. We don't know that either. There's two of them. Okay. Um, and the sum of them is 17. What are the numbers? So we add them, and they is 17. Well, unfortunately, we don't have enough information to solve this particular equation. We've got two unknowns, but there's only one equation, and you need at least as many equations as the number of unknowns that you want to solve. So, there's any combination of two different numbers that could make 17. Maybe y is 14 and x is 3, or maybe x is 6 and y is 11. There's not information here to give us this information to solve for x and y. But here's the clue. These are two consecutive integers, two integers that are next to each other. So what we need to do is actually rewrite one of these in terms of the other. So say like, pretend like one of these numbers is 2. Say x is 2. Let's pretend. Um, uh, what would an integer that's consecutive with it be? Um, well, 3 is the next consecutive integer. Well, if I wanted to describe 3 in terms of 2, I could rewrite it as 2 plus 1. So if I wanted to write 2 and then 3 as just in terms of 2, I could have 2 and then 2 plus 1, if that makes sense. So actually we can rewrite y as simply x plus 1. So we've got x plus, and then instead of y, we're just going to call it x plus 1. Now we've got only one variable that we have to deal with, just x. So that's what the consecutive integers part is telling us. We've got a number, and we've got an integer, and an integer that's consecutive with it. And if you add them together, they are 17. Now we've only got one variable, so we can solve. So x plus x is 2x. So 2x plus 1 is 17. So we want to get x by itself, so let's subtract that 1. Subtract 1. So this is 2x is equal to 16. And x is being multiplied by 2, so we're going to divide by 2. Got to do that to both sides to keep the equation balanced. So x is 8. So that's our starting number. The question is, what are the numbers? So if you say the answer is 8, that's not answering the question yet. So the numbers are 8 and then 8 plus 1, which is 9. All right. So, and is that true? 8 plus 9 is 17? Yeah. So the consecutive integers that add up to 17 are 8 and 9. All right, let's try another one that's a little bit more difficult. The sum of 3 consecutive integers is 9. What is the largest of the 3 numbers? Okay, so let's start with some integer, x. We're adding up 3 consecutive integers. So we've got x. The next integer up would be x plus 1. And I'm just grouping this to keep, to keep track of what is what. And then we've got x plus 2 would be the third consecutive integer. If you think of it as 2, 3, and 4. 2, 3, and 4 are 3 consecutive integers. But let's say we wanted to write this all in terms of 2. So we've got 2 and 2 plus 1 and 2 plus 2. Yeah? So that's what's happening here. So x plus 1 plus x plus 2 is 9. Alright, so let's combine like terms. We've got an x, an x, and an x. So we've got 3x plus, alright, so we've got 1 plus 2 is 3. So 3x plus 3 is 9. We want to get x by itself now. So first, let's get that 3 out of there. So 3x equals 9 minus 3, which is 6. Divide by 3. 6 divided by 3 is 2. So x is 2. So that's the first number. That's not the answer to the question, though. What's the largest of the 3 numbers? So this is what we start with. So the 3 numbers are x, which is 2, x plus 1, which is 3, and x plus 2, which is 4. So the largest of the 3 numbers is 4. All right. So watch. Look for what the question is actually asking. Yeah. So, and let's just double check our math. 2 plus 3 plus 4, is that 9? Yeah, 2 plus 3 is 5, plus 4 is 9. So, true. Good. Alright. You can kick it up a notch. The sum of 2 consecutive odd integers is 8. So, let's look at, that's gonna be a giveaway. Let's start with an odd integer, 5, for example. What's the next odd integer up? It's going to be 7. So, so if we want to write this in terms of 5, it'd be 5 and 5 plus 2. In other words, we're skipping one. We're skipping the even number in between them. So be careful with that. So it's not going to be x plus 1. It's going to be x plus 2. Because these are consecutive odd integers. We need to skip a number in between. Skip an integer in between. So x, actually, I'm getting bored of x. Let's call it v. V plus 2 is 8. I didn't ask the question, so let's just assume we're asking for both numbers. Okay, let's combine like terms. 2v plus 2 is equal to 8. We're going to get v by itself, so 2v equals 6. So we're going to divide that by 2 because it's being multiplied by 2. V equals 3. Okay, so that's our starting number. The next consecutive integer up is 5. And is 3 plus 5, 8? Yep. Good to go. Alright. You know what? I will let you do this one. The sum of 4 consecutive even integers is 36. So these are even integers. just like odds, by looking at even integers, you're skipping over the odd integers in between. So you're adding 2 with each jump. You're doing 4 numbers, and then what they add up to is 36. So find all 4 of those even integers, and yeah, good luck.